paid, to take part in this land fraud. Of course, you mentioned that there are bigger people also who are part of this. So isn't the Law Society of Kenya supposed to regulate this? What's wrong there?
The Law Society of Kenya has tried to regulate this, and indeed, the agreements that we use right now in Kenya, there's a template provided by the Law Society of Kenya. There are requirements that we are supposed to tick before the land is transferred. And we try, even the Law Society of Kenya, even me as an officer of the court, we try as much as possible to make sure that we've checked all these legal boxes. I might not say that the Law Society of Kenya has failed, but I would just say we have the legal requirement, but we only lack maybe the goodwill. There are some advocates who are rogue, because we are higher in the rank of maybe people know-how of how these things are done. So you might, when a client comes to you and they want to buy this land, because you have this privilege, maybe information, or the corridors of how you can maneuver around, you will also maybe just call someone, for example, and say, I want this and this done. So some lawyers, indeed, they take part, some knowingly, some unknowingly, in land fraud. By the end of the day, not checking all the legal boxes that is required for you to transfer good title to someone. So Law Society of Kenya, as an institution, as the society that governs or that checks the conduct of advocates, it has tried, because there are requirements that are there, but maybe implementation, maybe our council to some extent, maybe it has failed as far as maybe public awareness is concerned, as far as maybe calling to order advocates who are rogue, who maybe take part or conceal information or just try to get kickbacks as far as land transactions is concerned in Kenya.
So what legal loopholes do sometimes are exploited, by these fraudsters that the public, we don't know about? And I'm talking about these fraudsters, the cartels that are doing these things, backdoor. Not the ones that do it unknowingly, the ones that do it knowingly, but using the backdoor.
For you to be considered as a cartel, it depends. It depends. But as far as to answer your question, I would say, as a country, we've tried to come up with laws, to come up with regulations. I think we have closer to 10 different acts of parliament that just deals with land, apart from chapter 5 of the Constitution, providing about the general requirements of land. That is, we have 3 types of land. We have, in terms of ownership, we have public land that is owned by the government, and maybe government, that's national government and county government, and maybe some state agencies. We have community land owned by the community, and we have private land now owned by individuals. We have also other acts of parliament, for example, the Land Act that just deals with general provisions of land. We have Land Adjudication Act, we have Land Registration Act. So we have many different legislations that talk about land, especially when it comes to administration of land. So some, for example, cartels or even some government officials find a loophole as far as you'll find one conflicting provisions that talk about the same thing but using different requirements. So you'll find, for example, in the Land Act, for you to transfer land, you need this, this, and this. Then in the Land Administration Act, you need this and this and this. So because of these conflicting provisions in our laws, you find that some people find a loophole there. When it favors them, they will use these forms, because each act comes with its regulations with different forms. So you'll find that if it favors me, I will use this provision. If it does not favor me, I will use that. If it completely am out of order, I will find a way of coming up with even my own forms, and by the end of the day, finding a way of not coming up or not looking for all the legal requirements. Also, corruption. I will say corruption is one of the main. By the end of the day, fraud leads to corruption and vice versa. So it all boils down to the intention of whoever is behind the desk. Also, implementation, sometimes political goodwill. If people in the office or if, for example, there's political interference, you will find that, especially when it comes to administration of community land, we've heard of land being grabbed. And this, in most cases, affects community land. To some extent, private and also public, but community land, because community land is not registered to a specific person. So by the end of the day, no one has really responsibility how it is administered. So when it comes to if political elements interfere with that, you'll find by the end of the day, we will lose that land. And also when it comes to just our laws, we have many laws, but they are not as specific as far as administration of land is concerned, especially, and I still insist, public land and community land. Because in the Constitution, the public land and community land is to be administered by national government and county government. But by the end of the day, we don't have an apportioned responsibility to a specific office or a specific person that when something goes wrong, we will say you have responsibility as far as administration of this land is concerned. So if it's not clear, anyone can go there, build their mansion and start living there. In the next, like for example, 30 years, it becomes theirs. And by the way, if you stay on a piece of land for 12 years uninterrupted, without someone coming to claim that piece of land, do you know it becomes yours by operation of law?
Without a title deed? Or
Yes, without even a title deed, it becomes yours by operation of the law.
So if somebody tries to come, and claim it later?
No, it is yours. If, for example, this piece of land, you've lived there uninterrupted for 12 years, by operation of law, that land is yours. You just need to petition court and tell court, look, I've stayed here for